So today I'll be talking about the automatic Kalashnikov, also known as the AK, or more commonly known as the AK, and most commonly known as the AK47, although the probability that any of the Kalashnikovs you'll actually find are AK47s is incredibly slim, because they were only the very first issue model. Then they produced this what was known as the AK or the AKM, and then AK74s were developed later. There was also AKSUs, which were folding stock versions, RPKs, which are the machine gun variant, and a lot of other variations as well. The AK has been produced by many countries. All of the Warsaw Pact produced AKs, and they're known for their reliability, their power, and just general all-round rugged, reliable rifles. So, what I have here is a Serbian M72 RPK. It's the AK47 style caliber one, 7.62 by 39mm, and this was used through the Yugoslav wars. So, for a shit hits the fan rifle, how does the Kalashnikov, how would it, would it be good? Well, I think the answer we know is of course it would be good. The first thing about the Kalashnikov is how reliable it is. With a gun as reliable as this, you're not going to have any problems with jamming as long as you can keep it relatively clean. And when I say relatively clean, I mean just do some very basic gun maintenance. Nothing fancy is needed with a lot of other rifles. Because of all the variations of Kalashnikovs, you have two major options. You have either 7.62 by 39mm, the 47 style rifle, or 5.45 by 39mm, which is the 74 style rifle. The 7.62 gives you more power over shorter range, but ballistics aren't as good over longer range, and the ammo's heavier, which is not as good if you want to carry a lot of it. And the 5.45 gives you longer effective ranges, although the bullet is not as powerful, but it's lighter so you can carry more of it, and it's just as deadly if you can hit your target. Both types of AKs are very reliable. They use the same short stroke gas piston, and they both are very visually similar. And then there's also RPKs like this one if you wanted a bit of an extra barrel length for sort of extra range or for heavier fire. So, what makes AKs so good for shit hits the fan? Well, they're reliable. They're relatively light for what they are. But I do have problems with them. The sights aren't very good on Kalashnikovs. They're front heavy, more so for this because it's an RPK. But it means it's not as good, if you're holding up straight for too long. But if shit hits the fan scenario, that shouldn't be too much of a problem. They're effective. The AK47 is effective up to about 300 yards, and the AK74 is effective up to 500 to 600 yards because of the smaller cartridge, and it has better ballistics. Although the 47 cartridge will retain more power over longer ranges, but the arc of the bullet is much harder to, reliably compensate for, so you would find it easier to hit a target with an AK74. One of the advantages of I think this for a shit hits the fan rifle is if you get the folding stock variants like this one, you can have the stock either folded or unfolded, which is very good because when you're doing room clearing you might want the stock down so you can move the rifle about easier, and then when you're using it for marksman purposes you can have the stock deployed for obviously longer range shooting, more accurate shooting. So, for the shit hits the fan, the Kalashnikov is probably one of the best rifles around. I wouldn't say it's my personal favourite. I'd say the M1 carbine would be good for close range, and a battle rifle like a G3 or FAL would be better for long range, or even a bolt action rifle for longer range. But the AK is a gun that does pretty much everything well. It does nothing particularly badly. The sights could be better, the weight could be better balanced, but still, these aren't factors that are going to make it a bad gun or a survival gun. And if you weren't sure exactly what you needed, the Kalashnikov in both calibers would do a very good job of it. Well, thanks for watching. Bye.